Hello, this video is for a 10th grade world history class. The class is just now beginning to start a unit on Cold War. This will be an into lesson utilizing new vocabulary that will be included on a word wall. The standards will be presented just after this intro, and after that will be the start to the into lesson. Thanks. Good morning. Today we are finally moving past World War II, and we will be discussing the start of the Cold War. If you remember where we left off, Germany had surrendered and the United States had bombed Japan in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Now, we can't totally leave behind the events of World War II because, as you've seen throughout this class, history builds upon itself. And the events that occurred during World War II will have a profound effect on the aftermath. Now, before we go into exactly what happened during the Cold War, we're going to discuss a few of the key vocabulary words. Here they all are listed on our Cold War word wall, but we're going to look at them individually. So please pull out your vocabulary journals so that we can review each of the words in order to give you a better understanding of what happened during the Cold War. Cold War era vocabulary. Let's get into it. All right, the vocabulary words we'll be looking at are Cold War, communism, democracy, capitalism, totalitarianism, containment, Iron Curtain, satellite nation, and defect. First, we're going to look at the Cold War itself. Now, why do they call it a Cold War? They call it a Cold War because there was never any direct fighting between the United States and the Soviet Union. Now, even though the direct conflict never heated up, the era was still defined by confrontation and competition between the United States and the Soviet Union, both of whom had now defined themselves as the dominant world powers. To make matters worse, now that the atomic bomb had been used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the threat of nuclear war created a constant sense of world tension. Communism. Communism is both an economic and social system that's based on community or government ownership of everything in the economy. It's generally thought of to be as more socially equal, but less free. Let's look at cows. In communism, if you had 2 cows, the state takes both the cows and gives you some milk. Democracy. It's a system of government where the eligible population all vote for their representatives. Capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system that's based on the private ownership of business. Let's go back to the cows. Now, the capitalist is driven by economic gain. Here, he would buy a bull, mate with the cows, and produce more milk. Totalitarianism. That's these guys again. Authoritarian rule, where one leader holds absolute power. Containment. Now, this is the policy of the United States to stop the spread of communism. Just think of the root word to contain. The Iron Curtain. Now, this is not literally a curtain made of iron. What it is an imaginary line that divided the communist area of Europe from the free and democratic portion of Europe. Satellite nations. Now, these are nations that are controlled either economically or through a sphere of influence from another nation. This cartoon shows Stalin reaching out to extend his sphere of influence. Lastly, we have defect. This means to abandon allegiance to a country or military. It can also be thought of as a traitor. And this concludes the overview of the vocabulary on the Cold War word wall. Thanks for watching.